Good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Eris Foundation Facebook Live page. I am so excited. I have such a special guest. Dana Donofree, founder of Anna Ono Intimates, is here with us today. Not only is she the founder of Anna Ono Intimates, but she's a dear, dear friend of mine, and to know her is to love her. So thank you for joining us today, Dana.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So first, I just want to thank the Eris Foundation for creating this incredible platform and for creating a resource for women to go to who can't otherwise afford breast reconstruction. This is a major, major issue. You know, it's one thing to take care of your treatment, but obviously, you know, having a mastectomy is traumatic enough, but to not be able to have the resources to afford the proper breast reconstruction or any breast reconstruction at all is would be a terrible thing. So thank you to the Eris Foundation for helping to raise funds for those who need that for their breast reconstruction. So we are about to embark on Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I can't believe it's tomorrow. Can you?
I can't. I can't. Yeah, it's too much.
And before we dive in, I want to congratulate you and wish you a happy, I can't believe, 10-year anniversary. And so Anna Ono, if you guys want to follow Dana and Anna Ono Intimates, they have 10 hours. What hour are we up to now?
Girlfriend, I think we are at 1 o'clock. We started at 9, so 4 hours.
All right, so we have 6 more hours left to celebrate Anna Ono, so definitely check it out. And without further ado, I would like to give our dear friend Dana a proper introduction. Dana was diagnosed with breast cancer at the young age of 27, and she really founded Anna Ono Intimates out of her own need for beautiful, sexy lingerie, because you're kind of over the idea of having to resort to either ugly post-mastectomy bras or sports bras or camisoles or nothing at all, right? I mean, that's pretty much. And you had a degree in fashion design from Savannah College of Art and a very successful fashion industry veteran. And I think that's definitely, besides the margaritas and the pizza, that's one of the big things I know we have in common.
That's true.
So thank you again for joining us today and bringing such a wealth of knowledge. So, you know, with that being said, it's funny, you and I do so much work together, and I have to remind myself, we both come from the fashion industry. So, you know, maybe let's just have a little fashion talk. Like, let's just rewind, because I know so many of us, even if we didn't pursue fashion as a career, love fashion. Who inspired you? What made you decide to even get into fashion in the first place? And do you have like a favorite designer?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I wanted to be the editor of a magazine. Like, I wanted to be Anna Wintour. That was what I set out to be. And then I was at Savannah College of Art and Design, and I was working through the summers to get to my graduation. And so instead of going into photography, which was the version of the editor side that I wanted to pursue, they told me I had enough credits to graduate. So I said, hey, get me out of here and put me into New York City. I'm gone. So in doing so, I didn't follow that path. But to me, the top echelon is Yves Saint Laurent. Like,
can we take a moment?
Just, suits sexy for women. And like, I was that child that my father would send me in the bus in a dress. I packed pants. I changed at school to be in pants. I didn't want to be in a dress.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So I love that. Like the power shoulder and like the plunging, like the suit with no shirt or bra. I was like,
that whole androgyny thing. I love that.
That's totally me to like all of it. I love it. Yeah, that's my fave.
I love it. And then, so like, who would you say are your favorite fashion designers now? Like, who do you, even if it's aspirational, like if money were no object?
You know, I think that's a great question, because I gotta say I'm very thankful. Even though I entered into fashion in early 2000s, I still got to experience a tiny little bit of the world called fashion. I don't know if we're still living in that same world today, but you know, I still honor and love the late Alexander McQueen. I think that he changed landscapes in so many ways. His life was way, way, way too short. But, you know, I got to give a shout out to my girls. Like, I'm still in for like Donna Karen and Diane Van Furstenberg and Eileen Fisher. Like, they're just such incredible, like, business women, but also great designers that, like, if I could afford it and not just like a Rent the Runway piece.
Oh, don't blow your cover, Dana. Come on.
They would actually stack my closet.
No, I could see that. You're so chic, and I think your personal style really sort of exemplifies that. It's stylish, it's sophisticated, but you also need to be comfortable because you're running around and you're, working all day. So I love that. I love our fashion connection. So tell me how we went from being an Yves Saint Laurent fan to designing post-mastectomy bras. Maybe, if you will, tell us about your breast cancer journey and how you evolved from a fashion designer to an intimate apparel designer with a special niche, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, if I go back to my core, any fashion designer, I speak at universities, I talk to fashion students, I love to mentor. But the reality is like, no true fashion designer studies fashion design to work for another designer. It's not how we're built. Like, we all see our name on the wall. Like, we want the world to be seen in the way we want to see it. And that's the aspiration of almost everybody that gets a fashion degree. I mean, there's very few people I've met that are like, oh, my dream is to work for X designer. It's like, no, the dream is work for X designer to then have the ability to launch your own line later.
That was your dream, to have your own collection.
Totally.
Did you have a name for it? Was it like Dana Donofree, or did you have like a name?
Well, my maiden name is Cassie. And so, but the issue is like, I couldn't be a DK because there was already Donna Karen.
Oh, the nerve.
With the nerve. So I ended up getting married, which was great. Got a new
life. Now we have like an option for a new logo. Thank you, Paul.
100%. Yeah, 100%. There's absolutely a story to that. But long story short, it was just really interesting to me that here I was, 27 years old, I get diagnosed with breast cancer. At the peak of my career, I've made it to the director level at a company. I'm managing a design team and project managers of about 8 people. And I get diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was
27.
At 27 years old, I got the phone call a day before my 28th birthday. And as I was out shopping for my honeymoon, that didn't end up happening that year. So I had to postpone our wedding. But there was just this reality that like my life changed so dramatically. And I wasn't diagnosed and then knew I was going to start a business. It was like after all of the hardships, all of the challenges of my entire diagnosis, like just started compounding on each other. And I literally woke up in the middle of the night and I had this epiphany that the whole reason why I wasn't able to dress myself was because I wasn't able to find a bra that I needed to wear underneath my correct clothing that I used to express myself. So the whole part of Dana was just falling apart.
Wow. So this was like, you saw it as like a foundation to the wardrobe.
Right. Like because I was constantly like reorganizing how I was dressing. Like, and it was all dictated on like what this bra looked like and how this bra was going to fit me. So it was like, I was trying to like hide the hot pink straps of the sports bra while I'm walking into a board meeting of an account that's like a $25 million account. I couldn't sit there and be like, oh yeah, sorry, I was a little too busy. I couldn't take off my sports bra from the gym this morning. And
so in other words, like the sports bra gave you the support that you needed, but it didn't give you the style that you needed to sort of hide under, your business attire.
Exactly. And I just wanted to feel like myself. There was so much going into that. And I kind of just had this strike of realization to say, okay, there's different facets to all of this. One, I'm a young woman with breast cancer. At that point in time, I had not met a single woman under the age of 50.
Wow.
A year into my diagnosis.
That must have been kind of discouraging for you, right? Like you felt
horribly
alone.
So I thought, okay, I must be the only one that wants to feel good about themselves. So that was weird. And then the second one, I said, well, I have the know-all. Like I can make the bras, I can design the bras, I can sew the bras, I could do all the things. And then I said to myself, the third piece of the puzzle was that I was kind of crazy enough to do it.
Right, that's what separates us from everyone. It's like one thing to have an idea, but to actually execute it is a whole other ball of wax.
So I put up that like little cosmic boom that happened in my hot flash that I woke up from, from treatment. And I literally started drawing my bras that night with my notepad because I always kept my notepad by some reason, like designs would come to me in the middle of the night. Concepts would come to me in the middle of the night. I think it's because it's only when I was mostly relaxed. Wow. So I always had a notepad, I would sketch them out. So I started sketching and that's when I realized I'm like, oh my God, I should do this. But, I thought it was going to be a little shop on Etsy. I thought I was going to come home from work and sew bras at night. I just didn't realize that we were all facing such a challenge that just nobody was talking about.
Well, I think that you did a little more than start a little shop on Etsy, don't you? Thank God.
We did, yes.
Oh my God, what would we be wearing? I have no idea. I would be hiding my sports bra under my blazer. So thank you. Thank you. So, and thank you so much for sharing your story with us and your journey from, fashion designer to intimate apparel designer. What we want to kind of dive into today is to sort of demystify, those of us that are tuning in that are either were just diagnosed or about to start their surgery or in the middle of their reconstruction process. What did you have in your wardrobe looking back that you're like, those pieces got me through? Like, what would you say are the go-to things that you should have in your closet when you're going through reconstruction?
Well, I have to tell you, it's why I've made like a third of my collection was because I didn't have the things. I actually, I have a story coming out here later in the day, but I will bring out some of my oldies but goodies. And I'm almost embarrassed that I have them hidden away right now. Maybe I can have somebody go grab them. But I literally lived in a turquoise teal terry robe that my mom bought at Marshall's.
Oh, yeah.
Because there were no other robes that were available because I couldn't raise my arms above my head. And so I had nothing to wear. But then I think I'm mirrored. So I'm all confused. But I created a Diana robe that opens up at the front.
My favorite.
I'll tell you, the best gift I got was there was another employee at my company that nobody knew she had breast cancer. And she gave me a gift, and I opened up this gift, and I thought to myself, it came from Anthropologie. It was wrapped all nice, a nice pretty bow. And then she came to she gave it to me. She goes, oh, you're going to need this to come back to work because you won't be able to move your arms. And it was a shirt that buttoned up in the front.
Wow.
And I said, well, what do you mean I'm not going to be able to put on my other clothes? She goes, well, you're going to need to buy a bunch of shirts that open up in the front because you're going to have really restricted range of motion, because I went through breast cancer too, and I had reconstruction too. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I didn't even know. I had no clue that this was happening. But it was from there, it was this realization that what did I do? I went out to, because again, I'm 28 years old. I went out to Express and I bought every single button up.
Oh, I used to love Express. I used to look at the earrings for hours and be like, oh my God, don't I have to be somewhere?
Yeah, 100%. And it was just some of that realization that you don't have until you have it. I lived in zip up hoodies because again, that was the only thing I could move around in. But it wasn't so great. I remember my first dinner I went out to with my friends was the one zip up hoodie I had in my closet with my pain pump pouch to hold my drains.
Wow.
With a pair of sweatpants, my fiance's sweatpants over top of it, because that was the only thing that covered the drains, covered the pain pump, and came up high enough for my zip up hoodie. And that's how I went out to dinner with my friends.
Wow.
After my mastectomy.
Gosh, I mean, that, I always say, losing your hair, your breasts are defeminizing enough, but when you have to start, putting on your husband's sweatpants and hiding your drains, it doesn't make you feel pretty. And it is temporary, but, we're so grateful for women like you that have created products that really help us through that time, but also beyond. I mean, I'm 7 years out and I'm still, really, truly enjoying your bras. And I don't even know of any other bra brands. Are there any? I don't know.
No, but that's what it was about for me. It was about coming back together and living your life fully. And if you felt beautiful and you felt sexy before your surgery, why aren't you feeling that afterwards? That was my biggest roadblock. I was like, okay, my hair was taken away from me, my eyebrows, my eyelashes, all of these things were taken away from me. My breasts were, but now I can't dress myself. And that was coming from so many facets of my life. As a fellow fashion designer, you can respect. or fashion world industry you can respect. My entire closet, black.
Oh, same. Yeah.
Every shade of black, I had it covered. All of them. Then I got cancer and I was like, oh, this is it. I'm going to like wear fun colors and floral prints and, you know, all of these things that I always saw that like inspired me, but I was like never there because I was always the designer in black.
Right.
So when I tell you, like I was searching for myself so hard. I would get magazine pulls and I would pin them on the wall of my closet because of course I had no idea how to not dress in black. So I'm trying to like piece all of these different like paper dolls together to like make my new outfits. And I wasted so much money on new clothes just because I was trying to feel beautiful.
Yep. I think we go through a little bit of an identity crisis. And I think for me, like I always loved black. And I think I continue wearing a lot of black because I felt like that was my blanket. That was my personal style. And, you know, I was comfortable there. But it's really interesting to see how we either look to switch things up or look to maybe keep it the same so we don't freak ourselves out with like a weird identity crisis. But it's definitely a time of, you know, reevaluating our personal style.
100. And sometimes that's a good thing. Like I was really excited about it. And then I just realized I was pretending to be somebody I wasn't. And, you know, that led me through a whole nother like revision of me as a person. But a lot of that was because I couldn't find things to dress myself.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, fashion is emotional, isn't it? It's so emotional. And I know that even going through my own closet, you know, you see a dress that you wear, you know, or a suit that you know you killed every interview in, or, you know, a dress that you knew that was like the best first date dress, or, you know, those skinny jeans that you felt that was like, you know, to go out with the girls for, you know, and we identify, I think, our certain garments with certain times in our life. And I think when you go through breast reconstruction, you feel like you lose a part of yourself because maybe those garments don't fit you anymore the same way. And it's hard to let go. So I think, like, what advice would you have to someone that is sort of maybe reevaluating what's in their closet and what they should look at when they're shopping, whether it be for bras or for their, you know, their own personal style for clothing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a complex question because you're dealing with a lot. Like you might be bald from your chemo, like as you're also trying to dress yourself. So not only are you trying to dress yourself, maybe you're, you know, you're undergoing reconstruction. And so you're in the expanders, your chest might be a little bit more deflated than what it was beforehand. You might be flat because you chose to have no reconstruction.
Right.
You know, and a lot of what you have to do in your closet is kind of say, does something still fit me? And the sad side of that answer is a lot of things aren't. And I just remember I had a wardrobe. I always wore a black button-up shirt in the wintertime with my sleeves rolled up and with a pair of jeans, pair of denim, something like that, biker boots. Like that was my look. So I was always into like really cool, like chunky jewelry, chunky earrings. That worked for when I was bald, by the way.
Oh, I mean, that sounds like a perfect ensemble, really.
Yeah, but none of my shirts would button because my implants now were a little bit bigger than my natural chest because I was a really small cup, but they also weren't malleable. So I had all of these shirts that like used to button at my bust were now sitting all the way out here.
Right.
I was never going to fit into those again.
And it's hard to let go of those pieces, don't you think? Because it's like a part of us.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, and so when you're sitting there, you're like, oh, well, what's left in my closet that actually fits me? Like, these are all like the extra costs that nobody talks about with cancer is like, nobody tells you that your whole wardrobe's going to need to be replaced.
Exactly. That's the other piece of it. It's not like, oh, well, I had breast cancer. Now I need to go shopping. That's like the last thing on everyone's list.
100%. Like I was so happy that like baby doll tops were in when I got breast cancer because like those were that big flowy look, like the free people look.
Gosh, I hope those come back again. Those are really pretty.
What was the brand? Arden B?
Oh, I loved Arden B. After BCBG was like Arden B, right? Yeah.
So you remember the lace camisole that had the lace top and was like this little crushed material, had like a little slit on the side? thankfully that existed in the world. I mean, it was just, it was so incredible to me that I really had to rechange that facet of my life. And as a designer, as somebody who knew like what worked for my body and what didn't, it was taxing and emotional.
Absolutely. It's really taxing and emotional. And, it's the one thing, like I always say, it's one of those things your doctor doesn't tell you. Like, here's your treatment. And by the way, like half your clothing is no longer going to fit you the same way anymore. That's not their role, but it's something that's what we're here for. I also want to just let everyone know who's tuning in. First of all, thank you for tuning in. And we would love for this to be interactive. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Dana about fashion or, what you should be wearing throughout your treatment, feel free to fire away because you have her at least for the next half hour or so. So if you were undergoing surgery today, what pieces, if you were to go shopping for yourself, or if, let's say I was going through treatment, what would you say, Melissa, come on, these are the things I think that you should get, like 3 or 4 things.
If you were about to prepare for surgery, I am going to do a little plug because it is important.
Oh, show and tell. We are doing show and tell. We talked about this and we weren't sure, but I'm so happy.
Well, I just say this because, if you are preparing for surgery, chances are you're going to leave with drains. And this is our Miana robe. And you see there's just this little pocket here. And it just has enough room to hold.
So awesome. I wish I had that.
That to me is like the game changer in surgery recovery. And we talked about this. We already have like so much that we have to throw away and pass along. The reason when I started designing specifically was I hated that waste. I didn't want something just because I needed it for a moment of time. So
right, it's like I almost compare it to like maternity, right? It's only for 9 months or whatever, and then what are you going to do with it?
Yeah. So this just like unbuttons, and then you just like throw it away. Like throw it in the trash, burn it, slice it, dice it. I don't even care. But just like, you have a beautiful, gorgeous robe.
That is a game changer. And I wear that robe. I don't even know if mine came. I don't even think I got the drain belt because I got it so long after. But, can you wear the drain belt like just under a shirt? Like, can you just, or do you need to hook it into?
Ours has its own like proprietary hook system. So it works through all of our loungewear. Like we have a loungewear collection that's coming back in November. So it will hook from like a dress and a romper and a lounge pant and all of this. But there are products out there that do have drain belts that wrap all the way around the abdomen to hold the drains.
That's awesome. I think that's one way of really keeping your integrity. Again, it's only a short time, but the drains, we know, right? And it's like you want to be able to go to Starbucks still, or meet a friend, go for a walk, or go dinner with your husband, or whatever it is. So thank you for creating that to allow us to do those things still.
Yeah, because that's the number one piece. And then I would say just making sure that you have 3 to 5 shirts that do have open access to the front. So it could be a lightweight zip-up hoodie. It could be a button-up shirt. It could be a button-up pajama top. It could be a little wrap sweater or cardigan or something to that extent. But just at least having accessible items that are going to keep you comfortable while you're at home.
Exactly. I love all those ideas. And I know I'm trying to think, I remember I wore, and they're not always easy to find if they're not like the trend of the moment, but a wrap sweater, I think don't you think it's like a timeless piece?
Oh, timeless.
And it's actually, it's a very flattering silhouette. And like you could wear a little necklace. The wraps I find are really great. And you can get like a cozy cashmere one, or you can get even just a simple, they're cotton, almost like button down shirts that wrap. You could always, I'm sure if you Google them, you could always find that. And like, I love even like Athleta or Lululemon, they have these great zip up hoodies that are kind of stretchy. And even though it's like, I feel like it's athletic, they call it athleisure. I feel like that you agree, you could kind of put it even over a black tank with like leggings and boots, and you can kind of zhuzh it up a little bit and you're still comfy.
Listen, in 2010, yoga pants were not a thing. Straight up wearing yoga pants unless you were going to the gym. Like they were called gym pants.
Oh, that's right. They were track pants,
gym pants. Like, so to recover today, yeah, like a nice pair of yoga pants, maybe a little bit higher waisted than maybe what you would normally wear, just in case if you have any swelling in your abdomen, especially if you're going for a flap surgery.
And nothing too constricting, obviously. Like you don't want to be tight or anything too aggressive.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a key. And I'll tell you, One of my best tips, because one of the things you really need is a pair of slip-on shoes.
Oh.
So if you are going to go for a walk, yeah, you don't want to necessarily be in flip-flops, because like you're not really like bending over to look at your walking, and like putting on a pair of sneakers, like you're not bending your knee up and like tightening your own.
Oh, that's a good one. And you know, right, flip-flops also have to be careful, because you don't want to trip.
You don't want to trip. So like
here when we're going through treatment for whatever reason, right?
100%, just a nice little shoe that gets you like a nice little slip-on. Just you can sit on almost like a slipper but a shoe.
I love that. I love that idea. Yeah, and there are so many options out there. Like there are really cute, like Uggs. Like a lot of brands make cute little, like especially now with quarantine. There's like slipper shoes.
Exactly. Healthy recovery. We don't even know it. Exactly. That's like that. Those were the hardest things. My top, my pants, my shoes.
You know what? And here I am. I'm so focused on the top, and we're talking bras, but you raise a very good point that pants are obviously an issue. Elasticity, track pants, you're bringing it all back, and the shoes are also super important. Super important. You know, if you work with so many women every single day, and by the way, your team's amazing with customer service. You're so responsive, and you guys are asked. You know, I feel like you really have your finger on the pulse of, you know, what the biggest issues are. What would you say are women's biggest challenges right now when it comes to fashion and their wardrobe, and, you know, what's going to fit, what's not, what's going to work, what's not?
You know, I think the biggest issue right now is, as we continue to shift as a society as well, we're going to continue to evolve this conversation. But we have three facets that I think are really the changing dynamic right now. One is the empowerment to live flat. I think that this is a huge opportunity for people to say, sometimes reconstruction is right for you and sometimes it's not.
That's right.
The difference is you make the decision that's best for you, 100%.
Right.
And because we're not living in a society where women are only deemed fit if we have two breasts, because this has changed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of women that have had mastectomies 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago that now don't want to wear their breast forms.
Right.
Or better yet, maybe are undergoing reconstruction and didn't have the opportunity to do it 20 years ago. Things are changing and options are becoming like plentiful.
Right. It's not so taboo anymore. I feel like it's
taboo.
Yeah. Yep. To do breast, no breast.
Yeah, and just as the reverse. I mean, some women felt guilty that they wanted to have two breasts again and to undergo breast reconstruction years after their diagnosis. None of those things should matter anymore. You get to do what's best for you. You get to do what's right for you. You get to do what makes you happy. And then there's the reality of the explant. And the choice and realization of being able to remove whatever reconstruction you might have had done if you no longer deem it right for your lifestyle and for your body. So through all of these different choices, people are making different decisions on how to dress themselves. Because if your breasts were there and now they're not, or they weren't and now they are,
right.
This is affecting, you know, different styling changes. So, you know, we hear very intimately the issues involving the breast. You know, if there is asymmetry and somebody wants to achieve symmetry, we also have to remember those that get radiated, that had a lumpectomy maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, have experienced shrinkage over their lifetime. And we'll get calls that will, you know, some women could be a cup or a cup and a half different from breast to breast, and traditional bras don't fit them anymore. So not only do we inform them that breast reconstruction is an option for them, because they can reduce the natural side to match the side that has shrunk. But if they don't want to undergo surgery, you know, having an opportunity to kind of fill themselves out so they feel like they're achieving symmetry under clothing.
That's an interesting point, because, you know, we often think that once you've had your reconstruction or decide not to, that you're kind of done. But I think it's an ongoing process. You might choose to change the size of your implants, or like you said, radiated breasts, you could change over time. We're flesh and blood, right? We're going to, our size will change. So our closet editing is an ongoing process as well. So would you say it's just a matter of just like normal women do, like each season, you might just want to reevaluate, like, how do you edit your closet? How often do you do it, would you say?
I own a small business.
Rent the Runway. Thank you for Rent the Runway. That's doing it.
But no, you know, you're right. Like things do change over time, and like something. So for me, I'm celebrating 10 years. This is my 10th Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is my 10th year of developing Ana Ono. Thank you. You know, it's also my 10-year evaluation of my breast reconstructive surgery. Even though implants
are like a milestone, is that like a certain time when we're supposed to really take a fresh look at?
Well, in 2010, they say now that implants are good between 10 to 20 years. Sometimes they say that they never even have to be removed or exchanged if you don't have any problems. When I got my surgery in 2010, we were still on the 10-year track.
Okay.
You know, I have no complications. I have no problems. But the also realization is I was 27 years old when I was diagnosed. I don't know where she is. I'm a 27-year-old, but that's not what my body is anymore.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna be 40, right? Like,
you have such a baby face, Dana. I can't believe it. Oh my God.
But in reality, like my breast reconstruction doesn't necessarily fit my body anymore either. So, you know, and I can dream of the day when I lose my 30 pounds that I put on through 10 years of treatment. But until that day actually really comes, like there is a reality to say, like you are kind of evaluating a lot of things in your life, and making sure that you know you're kind of shifting and changing those needs as you change is also important.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you know, I've always enjoyed that whenever the season changes, it's been like a little retail therapy excuse for me, if you will, to you know, purge my closet. It's kind of therapeutic for me, and I think it took me a couple of years initially to really like enjoy doing that again, because there were a lot of garments that I just felt like I was hanging on to them, but I couldn't wear them anymore. And they just actually made me feel worse. So I finally did get rid of them. And now like, it's almost like dressing a new girl. Like now I know like a halter top, I know I don't have to try it on in the store. Give me a medium, I'm good. Yeah. You know, so you get to know like what your like flattering silhouettes are. So yeah, so thank you. We have a question. Thank you for sharing that with us. Let's see. So Tamara asks, can you provide some cost savings ideas for inexpensive fashion, especially for women who are going through cancer and are already financially struggling? Good question. So step away from the Yves Saint Laurent fantasy. And I don't spend a ton. I'm really thrifty. How would you answer that, Dana?
Well, first I want to answer it because people don't realize after a mastectomy surgery, your bras are covered by insurance. So we first have to realize that you have coverage in your pocketbook. You just have to know how to use it. So there's a lot of resources out there how to get
that. Thank you for reminding us that. Yeah.
So after your mastectomy is done, you've most likely hit your out-of-pocket and your deductible, most likely. But check your insurance coverage for mastectomy bras because we have a great resource on anaono.com to check that out. I would love to work with heirs to get that information out to those patients that they're helping because really, you know, we have patients that get anywhere from 4 to 6 bras a year.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a huge benefit that should be used. Also, if it comes to recovery and recovery bras, we do have a donated bra program as well through our website. So if you are in financial distress, we can help you at least get the recovery garment that you need. When it comes to your fashion, I have to say, I'm just gonna say it, like Target, like.
Oh, I love Target. Love it.
You get really great pieces there. It's not going to be the highest quality. It's not. You're going to wash them a few times. They're probably going to
put it in the dryer. Hang dry it.
Don't put them in the dryer. But if you're trying to balance your new body and your new lifestyle, and listen, I mean, I put on 20 pounds just from hormonal therapy. So anything I bought, 5 years ago is now no longer valid to the body that I live with today because of the continuous treatment. So if you're not really in a position to like rearrange your whole wardrobe and spend a huge investment on a new season, like experiment with some more of an opening price point place. Old Navy, still great options. They're going to be basic, but that's when you have like your little jewelry or your earrings or your shoes. Things that don't have to change can really brighten an outfit a lot.
Definitely. And you know what I love, especially, if the weather's not great and you have some time to kill, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, like the off price, so much fun. And you could just
Love
try
it.
a whole bunch, get a big pile, bring it in the fitting room. Even if the person in the fitting room is like, oh my God, wait, how many is that? They're counting. Just do it. Just try and see and try different shapes.
And take a friend. And I'll tell you why a friend is important, because it's not a great experience. You're going to find yourself picking a lot of things up off the rack that you would have used to wear because that's what you're like attracted to, and they're not going to fit. So you need that friend there that either is providing a different perspective or like, hey, why don't you try this?
In a nice way. Yeah. Yeah. Or you can ask Dana and I. We're always willing and able to. Or you could send us a screenshot. How does this look? That could be our next business. We could do fitting room consultation.
Absolutely. I love that idea.
So yeah, Lisa Lurie, thank you so much for chiming in. She said, so well said. Find the styles that you like and that work for you and look for them in affordable options. Love the friend suggestion. I'm glad you guys like that. It's always more fun to shop with a friend.
It is. And I know COVID is not allowing that for us right now. And you might have to buy your box from Target.com or OldNavy.com or whatever it is that you're shopping. But maybe that friend's FaceTiming with you or your sister or somebody that you will give you true, honest feedback. Because we have friends in the dressing room that tell us that we look hot when we know we don't.
Yeah, no. You need the friend that's going to give it to you straight up.
100%.
And before we wrap up, you bring up such a valid point, and I just want to make sure everyone is aware. How does one actually get their post-mastectomy bra covered by insurance? Would you be able to walk us through that process?
Yeah, so it's actually a very simple process. It's not very demanding. First things first, you have to get a prescription from your doctor. So you have to ask either your breast surgeon or your plastic surgeon to give you a prescription for a mastectomy bra. They may not know the code, so if they don't, it's an L8000. That's the mastectomy bra code. Once you have the prescription, you're now empowered to go shopping. So sadly, mastectomy bras aren't covered until after the mastectomy. So we love our insurance companies because they help us pay for some of our treatments. But, there's a lot of tactics here that are missing, but that's okay. We'll take what we can get. So after you have that, I would then search for a mastectomy boutique in your local area. Call them, ask them if they have Ana Ono. But if they don't, they're going to have other bra companies. Are they going to be the bras that you want to wear? My argument may be not necessarily, but give it a try. They might have something there. They might have a version or a hack that they do to other bras that you might like. But they will be the best to process through your insurance and to check your coverage. We also have coverage available online, so we can do a little bit more of that digitally or with your local stores. And I think that's really, those are your two steps. Get your prescription, find a mastectomy boutique. There's not a whole lot left here, unfortunately. So if you do live in a smaller town and you don't have big hospital systems around you, you may need to go to the internet or even calling one of them on the phone. Will be able to help you and maybe even do a virtual fitting now because of COVID, which is really great.
Great idea. Thank you so much for navigating us through that. And it's like, those are the things that I always say your doctor doesn't tell you. Like, I didn't know that my health insurance covered my wig.
Right, 100%.
Hair prosthetic, and that's another one for those of you that are going through chemo. Check with your health insurance carrier because it's called a hair prosthetic. It usually covers one per family, per household, per year. And I had like 90% coverage, so I was able to get a really expensive wig that I ended up not even wearing that much anyway. I felt like it's like wearing a ball gown, because I had chemo in the summer, so I was like, but once in a while it's nice to have that. Sorry to go off topic, but
needed though. I mean, again, people don't realize that you can use your, not always are the coverage so great. So they might be like, well, this is the wig that you can get covered, and then here's the one you can buy out of pocket. Sometimes that happens, but we all know the problems with our insurance.
Exactly. But it's good to know, that we have the power to exercise some of those benefits, and when we can, it saves a lot of money. So if anyone else has any other questions, now is a great time to chime in. In the meantime, definitely, follow Dana and Ana Ono. How many more hours do we have left now?
We're going all the way till 6 tonight.
Oh.
But what's really great is we're going to do a huge announcement at the end of the day. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss this announcement.
Ooh.
So if you don't tune into anything, tune in at 6 o'clock to hear our big announcement for tomorrow morning.
Dana didn't even, she didn't even share this. I don't even know what it is. She won't even tell me.
I gotta hope my lips are sealed until the big hour. But no, really, we have an awesome session. Confidence coach Lolita Frazier, which I know we both have in common, is giving us all a strut session at 5. So if you haven't registered for it, feel free to come. She's our New York Fashion Week runway coach. So when I tell you the way you dress and express yourself can really change the way you feel. If you haven't seen any of our New York Fashion Week shows, we outfit the runway with breast cancer patients, previvors, survivors, and thrivers that have never modeled before in their life, never been on a runway, let alone in a bra and underwear. And Lolita brings out their best. So if you want a little taste of that, we're going to do that at 5 o'clock, and you can register through our social media channels.
Fantastic. Oh my God, Dana, Barbara Berry, my mom. Thanks to both of you for truly making a difference. Mama, thank you.
Oh, we love you, Mom.
You have to meet her, Dana, once. She will love you.
I've already invited myself down to your house in Florida. So
yeah. We're going to go for a retreat. Mom, get ready.
Get ready.
But Dana, I can't thank you enough for joining us today and for sharing. This was fun for me. We haven't had like a serious fashion conversation. So I feel like I tapped into my truly inner fashionista, and we hope we helped all of you. These are some really difficult decisions that you've got to make on top of all of your medical stuff. So we're here for you. Reach out to us anytime. And thank you to the AIRS Foundation for creating this incredible platform and for creating a resource for women to be able to obtain financial support for their breast reconstruction when they otherwise could not afford it. This is huge. So thank you to the AIRS Foundation, and what an incredible way to kick off Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And just keep an eye on the AIRS Facebook page here for other events. And Dana, we're coming back for you. You're coming back. We're going to do this again.
Well, I just want to say, remember, the breasts don't define us. The way we express ourselves does. So please don't feel like you have to lose yourself because you've lost your breasts, and you can get empowered and feel beautiful and feel strong and be the gorgeous self that you already are. So thank you for this, AIRS Foundation. You do incredible work to support patients that need your help. And Melissa, thank you for being my cancer fashionista.
I try. Thank you for being an incredible friend, and good luck to all of you guys. We will stay close in touch. Bye.